Yo, what's up, guys? Jetxc here, and some exciting stuff here. I want to talk to you guys about Blade, um, Young Blade, aka Camelto Blade, what we call her on the channel, and also future character or costume that should be coming, Liberta, right? A lot of exciting stuff coming along. So overall, in the background here, I've got some Blade testing. In this stream, I kind of went over the story. So if you guys want somebody to kind of follow along with for chapter 15, definitely do check this out. But I just want to give like some final thoughts on Blade. I think she's a fun character. I think she's very gimmicky in terms of what she does. There was something that I did forget to mention in the last video, and that was the fact that when she counters, she hits all tiles, which is something that's super crazy. Um, and I think if you have the right units to support her, you can make her really good, right? The only thing is you have to make sure you're being hit, number one, and then number two, you have to make sure you don't get dispelled. I think Blade will work the absolute best in like Guild Raid or Fiend Hunt. Um, I think in regular PvE content, she will be much better with her second costume for sure. But the thing is, like, right, when you activate your attack, you do a decent amount of damage. When you actually get attacked, which you have to put yourself in the position to get attacked, you run the risk of dying very easily. But what made it possible for my testing is I just ran Red Riding Hood Row. You could run like Anti-Dystopian Diana, somebody that will give her some type of shield. Now maybe you could kind of build her slightly tankish, but I think the best for her is kind of, at least in my opinion, going to straight up crit damage type of build, and then, you know, bringing along somebody like Red Riding Hood Row for a shield, or even like Graffiti, right? I think that makes her a lot better. There's definitely a few ways you can make her useful, but again, you just have to position yourself, and hopefully there's no silence or dispel. Now, how many copies should you get? I think at most, if you're a free to play, if you're thinking about investing in the future for her, I think if you at least get her +2, so you can get her 10 counters instead of 8, I think that's a good stopping point. The reason I say this is because we've got Camelto Blade coming up, and we have Liberta, who is basically like a physical B. Helena almost. But before we get to them, right, I think +2 is probably the best, right? I would love to say max her out and just watch her go crazy, but you have to kind of set her up in order for that to happen. It's not just like a 3x3 nuker, like, I don't know, Eclipse, Beach Eclipse, where you just put her anywhere, it's 3 SP, and you hit 6 tiles, and she just does complete damage, wiping out the whole team. With her, you kind of have to set it up a little bit. So that would be my suggestion. Now, if you really want to invest for the future, I think if you invest in her +5 and you try and do the same thing with Camelto Blade, you'll be just fine, right? She'll be a crazy unit anyway. But obviously, we only have so many tickets, so let's kind of get into just briefly touching on Camelto Blade, right? So for her, guys, we do know that she's supposed to be like Cat Eris, so we don't have any stats, but just make sure you kind of wait and see. We'll keep an eye out to what exactly she can do. But I am banking that she's going to be someone that you may want to max, because, and I've said this in a previous video, Cat Eris I've used absolutely everywhere, so she's definitely going to be useful. Okay, so while playing the story, guys, we got to take a look at Liberta and her abilities. Now, what we see won't be final per se, but we do get to see a little bit of it. So essentially, ally attack is increased by 75% for 4 turns. Heals allies for 187 at the end of each turn for 4 turns, equal to 100% of your attack. Ally crit rate is increased by 50% for 4 turns. So she's essentially basically a physical B. Helena, right? So I think this is going to be pretty interesting. This is definitely going to be a unit when she comes out. Honestly, she's going to be a huge priority, because now here's the thing. I don't know where that 50% crit is going to be in terms of like when you get multiple copies, but no matter what, I think it's going to be a priority to get that 50% crit rate, no matter what. If you have the tickets and resources, I'd rather you guys waste it on Liberta than something like Apostle Blade, because it's just the universal use of her and her second costume is just going to be much better than anything else. Yeah, but we don't know exactly when she'll be coming out, but I assume that she's right around the corner. But I'm not saying to necessarily save for her, just know that this costume is definitely coming, guys. So it's going to be very important to get Liberta her OG costume to +5. Plus, I'm kind of curious on how her cutscene's going to be, right? Because I know they try and make cutscenes like as loot as possible, but with Liberta, she's kind of all covered up there. So we'll see. But I do like her little, if you look at her image here when she activates her costume, right? She's kind of like shushing, and then she's got like really glaring red eyes, so she looks really good there. But yeah, I'm gonna be curious now. Overall, guys, I think this patch, I may have mentioned it earlier, but I think it's been really solid. The story was solid, right? I think for a gacha game, it's pretty solid. I know some people kind of like skim through it just to get like the idea of it, and honestly, it is possible to skim through this chapter and get like the gist of it, to be very honest with you. But yeah, overall solid chapter, and yeah, just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about Blade and future characters, because I know there's been a lot of back and forth, and she's definitely a good character without a doubt. If you can, try and beat chapter 15 and get a free copy of her. There's actually a little bit of dialogue between her and Lathel at the end, so it's kind of cool there. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me, guys. I'll be talking more on Brown Dust 2 overall here in another video. So yeah, I am out. Later.